This is the Champion Forum podcast with Jeff Hancher, the forum for leaders, champions, and dreamers.
Hey leaders, welcome back to the show. I'm your host, Jeff Hancher, and today we're going to take a hard but very honest look in the mirror. So I'm so glad that you joined today. I want to start by telling you what might be a little bit of a funny story. It's funny now, it wasn't funny then. But not too long ago, I'm having coffee with a colleague, and we're having some great discussion. And like any person that wants to get better, I'm sitting there writing notes on my paper tablet and filling up a few pages of the legal pad. At one point, the guy looks over at me and he says, "Hey, are you going to put that in a hanging folder with my name on it when you get back to your office, and then maybe fax it to me in the future if I ever need it?" And he gets this big smile on his face, and then I knew exactly that he was dumping truckloads of sarcasm coming my way, and we had a little bit of a laugh about it. He pulls out an electronic tablet from his briefcase, and he brought me right into 2025. He's shown me how this thing works, how you can download PDFs, how you can save electronic folders, and all of this stuff. And he's like, "Hanch, you got to get rid of the paper tablets. Not only is it ineffective, it's like kind of embarrassing. Like, this is 2025. And we had a great laugh about it, but I got to tell you, it had me thinking about how often are we doing this as leaders? Because I can tell you this, man, that paper tablet has brought me through some things. That paper tablet has been with me in a lot of meetings. I've closed a lot of deals. I've driven a lot of revenue. I've been in a lot of high-level meetings writing on tablets. This paper tablet has served me well over the years. But it got me thinking about other areas of my life and maybe even our journey as leaders. Because the truth is this. Some of the leadership skills that made us very successful 10 years ago, they're probably becoming liabilities for us today. Not because we got worse. I'm not here to suggest that it didn't work for us then or that we're even bad leaders. But it's because the world is evolving. The world is changing. And maybe we didn't update the operating system. Is our leadership still using a paper tablet? I don't know, but we're going to crack into that a little bit. Today, I want to talk about what I think might be some obsolete skills that leaders still often cling to maybe a little too tightly. And maybe what we should be doing instead. Maybe looking at a few alternatives. Maybe an electronic tablet. And look, I got to tell you, this electronic tablet has changed my life. And I'm here to tell you, if I can transition to anything technology, anybody can. So you might want to look at that if you're still writing on a paper tablet. Look, we all know what got us here is not going to get us to where we're going. We know this. We're growth-minded, right? But knowing isn't the same thing as living it out. We hold on to certain skills, behaviors, mindsets. Why? Why? Because they helped us win in the past. And we confuse what's familiar with what's actually effective. So what are some of these outdated leadership moves that might be holding you back from making even bigger impact than you already are? And let's talk about the good is the enemy of great. Well, Jeff, it's working well for me now. Okay, that's good. But we have to have this mindset of we're not as good as we could be. So let's walk through a couple of these that might be blind spots for you. Let's talk about the first one, this command and control kind of leadership. You know what I'm talking about? Command and control. This is the old school belief that a leader's job is to tell, direct, and then inspect. Tell, direct, then inspect. And to be fair, it worked. It worked when the workplace was driven by compliance. It worked when the workplace was driven by just grind and repetition. But today, I'm not so sure. Today, in a world of knowledge creators, a bunch of creativity, a bunch of innovation, tons of rapid change. What I think is this approach, it shuts down engagement faster than maybe anything else. And we might be the leader that's like command and control. I have put up a lot of trophies on the shelf with this leadership strategy. And all of a sudden, like, I got high turnover. Like, I'm doing the same thing I've always done. Yeah, that's actually probably part of the challenge that you might be having. So how do we upgrade from this command and control? It's collaborative leadership, y'all. It is collaborative leadership. You still lead, but what we're doing here is we're co-creating. We're not just barking orders. You bring people into the process. You get them involved at point of creation. You ask instead of just tell. This is a great way to create harmony in today's workplace for today's leader. The other obsolete skill that I think is alive and well and maybe an opportunity, and I can tell you this was me at one point, always having the answer. Always having the answer. For a long time, being the smartest person in the room, knowing more than everybody else, that was considered to be good leadership. I mean, we wore that as a badge of leadership. You know, all of this tribal knowledge, I like to call it, you know, high product knowledge, industry knowledge, what customer knowledge, whatever it might be. But here's the truth. The speed of change has outpaced one person's ability to know it all. We are in the day of artificial intelligence. It is impossible for you to impress somebody with your knowledge like you used to. So trying to be the answer bank in today's workforce, it's exhausting. And may I take it a step further and say it's unnecessary. You don't have to have all the answers. Now, this is not a license to be a derelict leader. Like, we got to know and we got to grow and we got to consume and we need to be mentored and we got to be growing in these areas. But we certainly don't have to be a know-it-all. We have to be a learn-it-all. So what's the upgrade to this outdated, stale type of leadership? Learn to be the guide. You don't have to be the guru, but you do need to be the guide. If you want to master the art of being the best leadership guide, ask better questions. Guides ask great questions. They don't just tell you what to do. They help, but they're bringing you on the journey. And maybe you're like, Jeff, I've heard you talk about this question thing. Great leaders ask great questions. Because here's what we're doing. We're leading them to the answer, right? But maybe you've heard me talk about this and you're like, I got it, but where do I begin? What do I do? To get you started, we have created a free resource on our website, jeffhancher.com. It's called the Leader's Conversation Guide. This is designed to help you elevate your leadership through very impactful conversations. You get questions that I recommend, ones that I absolutely believe in, that are transformative leadership questions. We send those to you to deepen your relationship with your team and expand your influence. And I've also included in that free resource why each question is important, what to look for in your employees' answers, and how to use this information to be a better leader. Go get this free resource. It's easy to get to, jeffhancher.com/freebies. I don't know, it's not that original, but that's where you can find it. Look, instead of always feeling like you need to have all the answers, empower other people to solve. This is freedom, not a bad way to reproduce yourself and other people as well. Create an environment where people feel safe to bring ideas. They feel safe to speak up. They feel safe to communicate. This is leader as guide versus guru, and you don't need all the answers. The next obsolete skill that may be holding you back is delegating tasks versus delegating ownership. Man, this is a big one. I remember as a new leader being told, Jeff, you need to delegate more. Jeff, you need to delegate more. You're trying to do too much. You should be getting other people to do those things. How I was taught delegation was give other people your work. Folks, I am here to report that is not healthy delegation. Empowerment comes before healthy delegation. There was a time when delegation meant just pushing off responsibility, pushing off duties so that you could focus on strategy. Your team's doing all of the, day-to-day admin, whatever it might be, and now your big picture, which I'm here for it. Like, I'm about leaders working on it and not in it. But we got to be careful that we're not just delegating out tasks, but we're literally giving people ownership. Great leadership in today's workforce is about developing other people to think, to lead, and to take ownership, not just execute a task. Here's what I want you thinking and reframing as it relates to this delegating tasks. Don't delegate a task. Delegate an outcome, not just action items. Delegate an outcome. Give people the what and the why, and let them figure out the how. Look, sometimes the best way to learn is to fall off the bike. A little bit of healthy tension. Now, I'm not saying push them out of the plane without a parachute. I'm not saying that. That's irresponsible. But when we begin delegating outcomes, innovation, ingenuity, all of these things start coming into our team. And this is a great way to add value as a leader. The next obsolete skill to be thinking about is valuing tenure over adaptability. Now, this is some old school, look, I'm not hating. Because you might be saying, what do you mean? Jeff, are you saying we shouldn't value people that have stuck around and they're loyal to the company? I'm not saying that. But I will tell you this, there was a day that if you had more tenure than everybody else, for some reason, you got promoted, you got preferential treatment, you got all of these things. I'm not saying not to honor people that have stuck around, hear me. But I hear it all the time. Yeah, Joe, he's been here for 20 years. Great. Congrats, Joe. But what's Joe doing to grow? What is that 20-year employee, 25-year employee? What are they doing to grow? I love rewarding some tenure. I got it. But not at the sake of not highlighting adaptability and growth. Tenure is not the same as transformation. It's just not. And in today's environment, adaptability trumps longevity. It just does. Look, send them the 20-year, penknife and, letter opener engraved with their name on it. I'm here for it. But I'm going to tell you, not at the sake of looking inside and saying, how am I rewarding adaptability? How am I rewarding growth? So where's the shift in the mind? Celebrate learning. Celebrate people that are growing. Promote people who are growing. Not just those that have been around a long time. Model this growth as a leader. This is when we find people doing things right and we make a big deal about it. I'm all for celebrating a 20-year anniversary. But let's be sure not to overshadow celebrating those that are making the effort, putting in the time, making the sacrifices to grow professionally. You might see it, and maybe you're noticing it, and maybe you're even saying something to that individual in a one-on-one, or, hey, nice job, I see the extra effort. But I'm talking about, let's order a trophy. Let's bring in the sheet cake. Let's make a big deal about people that are going the extra mile. So, why do we cling to some old, obsolete skills? And look, we could probably list 15 more. But there's reasons why we do this, and I am guilty as charged. These old ways, they're comfortable. We have proven in the past that they work. And they make us feel good. They make us feel like we're still in control. But we might be slow adopters to growth because we kind of don't want the agitation of the new thing. Look, when I got that new electronic tablet, it took me a better part of an hour to figure out how to copy and paste things. You know, that electronic pen does not have an eraser on it. You know what I'm talking about? Like, I had to figure out how to erase things. and save things. And it was clunky at first. But I will tell you now, it's like, where have you been my whole life? Here's what we know. Comfort, history, control. These aren't the job of a leader. It's not your job to just create comfort. It's not your job to just always celebrate what used to be. It's not your job to just control everybody and keep everybody towing the line. The responsibility of a leader is change, is growth, is courage. These are the things that make for great leadership. So here's the challenge I want to send to you all today. What's one leadership skill that you're still using that needs to be retired and hung up in the rafters? And I'm saying, look, let's put it in the rafters so we can still honor it, but let's not use that number anymore. I want you to call that thing out, name it, replace it. If you don't know what that is, I'll bet there's somebody that does. And you know who it probably is? It's probably your team. It's probably your team, just like my buddy who said, you going to go back to the office and put that in a hanging folder with my name on it? Hey, by the way, like, you want to hear something silly? I still have hanging folders with old documents in them. Isn't that wild? I got to get rid of those things. Why am I still holding on to those? Your team knows. If you don't know and this is a blind spot, go ask your team. Ask them this. Say, hey, what's one thing I do as a leader that you think might be a little bit stale and outdated? Their answers are going to be absolute gold. If you're brave enough to hear them, and if you're brave enough to ask them. Hey, if today's episode hit home, share it with another leader. Let's be the kind of leaders who are always evolving, always growing, and always increasing. And we're the kind of leaders who lead other people to do the same. Until next time, keep leading with courage, keep leading with clarity, and be willing to grow. And never stop turning the pressure into potential.
The Champion Forum Podcast with Jeff Hancher. Lead, inspire, win.